But to what sounded at first hearing, like a big victory for the United States. A US missile has killed the head of al-Qaeda, Ayman al-Zawahiri, who took over the Islamist terrorist group after Osama bin Laden was killed a decade ago.
Now, justice has been delivered, and this terrorist leader is no more.
Now, Zawahiri was undoubtedly evil, right? He was actually a paediatrician in Egypt. Oh, nice guy. In fact, he became an Islamist radical. He was arrested after Muslim radicals assassinated Egyptian President Anwar Sadat in 1981. But he was acquitted, and he later teamed up with Osama bin Laden and is accused of helping to plan al-Qaeda's terror attacks in 1998 of US embassies in Kenya and Tanzania, and the 2001 terror attacks in the United States that killed around 3,000 people. So he deserved to die, and Biden, who looked really frail when he announced his kill, struggled to read his words, mangled his sentences, made a big claim in trying to sound tough.
Now we have eliminated the emir of al-Qaeda. He will never again allow Afghanistan to become a terrorist safe haven, because he is gone, and we're going to make sure that nothing else happens. You know, it can't be a launching pad against the United States.
But wait a minute here. Zawahiri was actually assassinated in a house in Kabul, the capital of Afghanistan, in a nice area. A house reportedly linked to an advisor of the second in command of the Taliban government. So it sounds to me that Afghanistan is becoming a haven for terrorists. Maybe not quite that safe, but the Taliban is not just once more in charge of Afghanistan after Biden's disastrously rushed pullout of US troops, but is once more protecting al-Qaeda and who knows who else. Joining me is Australia's top writer on foreign affairs, Greg Sheridan of the Australian newspaper. Greg, great to see you. How significant is this assassination?
Well, Andrew, it's a useful thing. It shows that America can strike. And in a period of a couple of weeks where Biden has never looked more doddery, confused, hesitant, incompetent and hopeless, at least it shows that it can still be dangerous to be an enemy of America's. But I think the implication in your intro that the Taliban is sheltering al-Qaeda is undeniable.
Well, absolutely. It's incredible, isn't it? But that he still makes a promise, no, it won't be, when we actually see that it is. Zawahiri was 71, very low profile for a decade. How dangerous was he still?
Well, al-Qaeda has been somewhat eclipsed by ISIS, and it seems to be in a rebuilding phase. A lot of the terrorism from Islamists in the last few years has been localised and not directed precisely at the West. I mean, terrible things are happening every day in Africa. You know, Christians and moderate Muslims being murdered in huge numbers by Islamist extremists. At one level, al-Qaeda cost the Taliban a lot because America went in 20 years ago and chased the Taliban out. But on the other hand, the ultimate victory of the Taliban allowed them to say that they had vanquished and beaten and defeated the United States, and the inability of the United States to set up a functioning government that it could ally with in Afghanistan remains a grave strategic defeat for United States power. Al-Qaeda is not what it was under Osama bin Laden, but we have no idea how the terrorists are going to respond in years ahead. Not respond to this killing, I mean, but they now have hundreds of thousands of active recruits, many more than they had at the time of the 9/11 outrage. So, look, killing their leader is very useful because nothing focuses the minds of a leader more than having a bomb drop on their tent. Colonel Gaddafi was much more cooperative after that happened to him. But, the terrorist challenge goes on, and Afghanistan, the Taliban is not keeping any of their promises, not to harbour terrorists, to treat women decently. Nothing that they promised is being honoured.
No, absolutely correct.